I think that's very important. And essentially, if you look at, these days, the trends with all the digital marketing and transformations, I mean, everyone here talks about analytics and blockchain and all of these things. So do you think someone who's, just out of their 12th is also fit enough for these kind of learnings? I mean, is there some kind of a prerequisite for these enhanced new age technologies?
Look, quite frankly, what you talked about, fintech, digitization, digital marketing, analytics, what you have to remember is that a lot of the younger talent who possibly might be financially aware, who possibly might be evolved as far as the math or statistics knowledge is concerned, right? They're able to pick this up very early on, right? So a lot of people who are hiring young talent who've done their undergraduate degrees are also opening up and happy to hire talent who have been able to do elements of what you spoke about: blockchain, fintech, digitization, digital marketing, certain levels of financial analytics, maybe certain levels of supply chain analytics, a little bit of artificial intelligence, machine learning. If that gets built into a BBA program as well, so for example, in our case, so if we have a BBA in analytics, and in this, the analytics by itself has a focus on a lot of new age courses. And once you're able to learn these new age courses, a lot of avenues open up. Remember, a lot of companies, organizations, tech firm, ed tech organizations, many of the older traditional organizations who are trying to become more modernized, move on to automation, would like to work with young talent. The reason why you would like to work with young talent with a certain level of understanding and knowledge is because at the end of the day, you're coming in with a certain creative mindset. You're coming in with a passion to learn further on the job, and you can then be molded in that particular direction as well. Right. So quite frankly, is there a later time, or is there a later time maybe in the MBA or a master's program to learn fintech and blockchain and many of the new age things? Not necessarily. If it's taught the right way, if the student is involved and engaged in his or her learning the right kind of way, this can be easily learned at the undergrad levels as well, right? If you notice, a lot of evolved schools are also actually trying to train you in this direction. What does it mean? That means that a lot of these concepts which we think, oh, think I need to be experienced to learn these, are actually now moving on to younger age categories as well, right? So I think that's what my answer is.
So when you look at all of these things, so kind of, with the way things are evolving now, even in the Indian education, you see a lot of change. Like, you spoke about experiential learning and all. Essentially, this used to be something which is very predominant in the global universities and colleges. So do you think, like, your experience of, studying with so many global different universities, is it actually evolving here as well? And, are we adapting to the same level?
Absolutely, we are. So look, a lot of progressive young educational institutions, dynamic institutions, are actually building up applicational orientation or application-based learning or practical learning or learning by doing into the DNA of the curriculum, right? When they build it into the DNA of the curriculum, that means that every course that they do has a high proportion of experiential learning, right? Has a high proportion of, hey, you learned a concept, now practice this concept in the classroom. Now apply this concept in the classroom. What separates a lot of, let's say, progressive universities or the universities that we kind of look up to in the West or those kind of places, what's the big difference? The big difference is that this whole idea of application-based learning, this whole idea of flipped approach to learning, this whole idea that the student takes the ownership of the learning by themselves, practices by themselves, is guided, of course, by the faculty, but applies this learning in various ideas, does a lot of simulation, let's say, does a lot of gaming-based approaches to studies in the classroom. A lot of these things are actually coming into India in the last 2 to 3 years. Okay, and that's fundamentally where this whole idea of equilibrium is coming, wherein right? A lot of the international practices are actually being adopted by some universities in India, and which
Okay.
automatically means that it enables more placement ready, employability ready candidates even at the undergraduate stage.